Don't forget, you can reach the latest episode of Potomac Watch anytime. Just ask your smart speaker, play the Opinion Potomac Watch podcast. That is, play the Opinion Potomac Watch podcast.
From the opinion pages of the Wall Street Journal, this is Potomac Watch.
Welcome back. I'm Paul Gigot with the Wall Street Journal here with Elliot Kaufman and Kate Batchelder-Odell. And just one, Kate, on the arms embargo by Biden on Israel. That concerns what Congress can do about it. Can they do much? Probably not.
Well, there is outrage in Congress that I think Mike Johnson captured pretty well. And keep in mind that some Democrats took what they perceived to be political risk to vote for that bill. And then to find out that the president has no intention of offering the weapons is a slap in the face. Congress is very unhappy with this result. Lindsey Graham, the senator from South Carolina, has been holding a press conference Thursday about a resolution to condemn what the Biden administration is doing. That is an interesting test for Chuck Schumer, who has been trying to walk a tightrope and describing how he remembers listening to the Yom Kippur War reports on the radio and wondering if Israel would exist, but also criticizing Netanyahu. So I think it sets up an interesting dilemma for him in the Senate. And then hopefully a companion measure in the House would be easier to pass with Republicans favoring it. And I do think that would be embarrassing for the president, even if they can't physically get the arms to Israel themselves, because the executive does have a lot of latitude there. It would be, I still think, a useful exercise for Congress to put its displeasure on the record and force the president to pay at least some price for this embargo he's rolled out. All
right, let's turn to the attempted and failed coup by Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Georgia representative, offering a motion to vacate the House speakership. She brought it, notwithstanding long discussions with Mike Johnson, who came away from those meetings thinking she would not do so. She did, without telling Johnson, according to the speaker, that she was going to do it. She got 11 Republican votes. 3 more than Republicans that voted to depose Kevin McCarthy last year, but this time the Democrats saved Johnson's speakerships. Let's listen to the speaker respond.
I appreciate the overwhelming show of confidence by my colleagues to defeat that misguided effort. Here's what I have to do every day, Brian. I have to do my job. I have to do what I know to be right. We advance our conservative policies and principles as far as we can here every single day up the field, in spite of the fact that we have the smallest majority in U.S. history. We can't get 100% of what we want, and sometimes a handful of my colleagues demand that. It's just not possible right now. But we're fighting. We're going to get this job done. And I think that's leadership.
The final vote, 359 voting to table the motion to vacate. That is kill it. 43 voting to sustain it. 11 Republicans, 32 Democrats. Kate, is this over for now?
For now, but the issue at stake is that Marjorie Greene could simply decide to bring it up again if she wanted. There was a discussion during the debate over the aid bills for Ukraine and Israel about changing the rule to raise the threshold so that one person couldn't take the entire House hostage at any given point and force one of these votes. But Johnson didn't think he had the support to get that through and did not do it. So now we could watch a repeat of these exercises. And one thing that makes me wary that we could is that former President Trump, when he decided to wade into this, he started his statement by saying, I love Marjorie Greene. She's got spirit. She's got fight, like it was a fight song or something. And that now just isn't the right time for all of this. And so he chose not to cut her loose or to make her pay any price for these antics. And so I think you could see some interest in doing it again and just embarrassing the speaker. I think it's a sad moment for Republicans. And Newt Gingrich a while ago gave an interview where he said, in the 90s, we understood that the Democrats were the opposition. I'm concerned that it's not the prevailing attitude among this corner of the House.
Elliot, no question, one of the most disastrous decisions that Kevin McCarthy made was the deal to allow a single vote motion to vacate to get the speakership in January of 2023, essentially made him hostage to any member. Matt Gaetz, the Florida representative, pulled the trigger on that and toppled him. And it means that any member who wants press gaggle around them to raise money by pandering to those people who are frustrated at the grassroots and send a check, you can do that. And that's no way to govern, and it's become impossible to do so. I think this may come back in the fall when the Congress is trying to negotiate a budget, because if you're going to pass anything, any kind of budget, you're going to have to compromise if you're the Speaker of the House, because You don't have the votes otherwise. You don't control the Senate. You don't control the White House. And you barely control the House.
There's no other way to look at it, I think. I mean, if you want to get something done when you have the smallest majority ever, you're going to have to compromise a little. The problem is there are many people who have an incentive to pretend otherwise, to be able to say, I would get everything I would want if only I wasn't being stopped by this sellout, the leader. And the last leader was a sellout too, and that's why we got rid of him. And the leader before that, a sellout
and
also.
The leader before that.
And now we have Mike Johnson was sold as this once-in-a-generation conservative speaker, and it turns out he's facing the same constraints that every speaker faces. I think he's actually doing quite a good job getting things done, but not everyone wants to acknowledge that.
That is for sure. All right, we will leave it at there today. Potomac Watch Podcast is here every day, and we appreciate your patronage and your time and listening. And we'll be back here tomorrow, same channel. Thanks for listening.